Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our last series of the day here. We've got Wings Gaming versus iG.Vitality. Rounding out today's DPL action. Should be a pretty good one, to say the least. Wings, we touched on it earlier today and at the end of the last game as well. They need their former series, including this one, in the DPL, and they need to win a couple of those at least to have a shot at the top six. Of course, the top six. They're moving on to the playoffs. iG.Vitality, a similar position actually. They're sitting at 9-9 as opposed to Wings Gaming 8-6. So they also need to get a couple of points to get ahead of teams like LFY, for instance, who lost both their series today and could not progress past these 9 points. So potential for iG.V and Wings to claim it for themselves and to get closer to their own hopes and dreams as far as the playoffs are concerned in this game. On this tournament, I should say. Yeah. All right, Mr. V, he's too tired, so he could not join me for the last series. And I'm holding together. I'm still a bit tired myself, so do excuse me if the solo cast is not quite as energetic as it should be or should be. I'll do my best regardless, of course, as always. All right, iG.Vitality with a hero that we have not seen today. We've seen it banned a couple of times, but not played. It's the Bad Rider in the first 1-2 punch. So I feel like it's a hero that's timeless in a sense, or patchless if you want. Because he's always strong, really. No matter how you nerf him, unless you like switch around the core concept of the hero, you're not really taking away its value in a competitive scene. Just because the ability to blink it up somebody, pull him out of position with the lasso, it's just invaluable. Also nice with Lifestealer, just having that way in on the Bat Rider, or just potentially um, just waiting and just making use of the control, right? Just not being kited around is sometimes enough for the Lifestealer to do the damage that it needs. Of course, there are counters to this hero. One of them has been banned out, the Nyx Assassin. Gonna be joining us, and even the Oracle. That's a hero that we don't see a whole lot of these days, but if you're gonna see him, then probably as a counter pick to someone like a Bad Rider. So iG.Vitality taking that off of the field, off the playing field. They only have to deal with a Weaver, which can be quite hard to track down at times, just with Shikuchi. And the time lapse, if you don't kill him in the lockdown, you can just go right back. It's also a hero that might build Lincolns, depending on what kind of position he ends up being played as. If it's a 4 position, less likely. If it's a core, then you will probably see Lincolns and build somewhere. Same for the Invoker, really. Up against a Bad Rider, you have to consider this item very seriously. Right. So Sloud is actually also still in the pool if iG.V want to run that for themselves. They'll have space for it in the 4 position. So they could have that combo with the Lifestealer. Alternatively, some sort of invis hero would not go amiss, just to be able to scout out for the Bad Rider and provide an alternative Lifestealer infest bomb. Actually, one of the reasons why Wings Gaming banned out the Riggy. So you're not really having that. Of course, the Nyx Assassin also taken out by iG.V themselves. Means that's not available either. So those are invis heroes. I guess Bounty Hunter would still come to mind, but it's not really being played all that often, so I might not see that at all.
Reserve time.
It's something like a Lina going Shadow Blade could also do the trick in that sense for iG.V, but also on the table for Wings, I suppose. But with the Invoker first pick, even,
Radiant team pick.
Yeah, they don't really have too much space for that as a core. So if you pick Lina now, it's kind of pretty clear that it's going to be support Lina. Not sure if you want to throw that out in a draft.
5 seconds.
For now, it's going to be the Vengeful Spirit, so keeping the options a little bit open. Could be that Support Weaver, could be Core Venge, or vice versa. Be some weird aggressive strat they like to run every once in a while. And the Earth Spirit for iG.Vitality actually making it through
Wings Gaming's
all the way to
turn to
4th
pick.
pick. So Dogfights, gotta be happy about that one. He's a player that can actually make quite a lot happen on this particular hero, and heroes like it. Just this playmaking type of guy. And iG.V definitely gonna need
10
some of that.
seconds remaining. 5 seconds
Alright,
remaining.
so where does Wings want to go?
Reserve time.
As I said, they could go and center something around the Vengeful Spirits. Maybe just something standard and solid like a Rubik to put next to Venge. Or minus armor if you really want to commit to that. Dazzle's also still on the field. There's plenty of ways you can go. You can also just run Avengers support and pick up a core hero now. Something like Ursa or PA. Do they run PA? Spectre was in the last draft against CDC in DPL. So maybe something along those
Bounty
lines. And the
Hunter.
Bounty Hunter, actually, they're the ones taking it.
Radiant team ban.
Slightly surprised by that one. And it's good at keeping track of Earthbird early on. That's what I'm sure. And
10 seconds remaining.
oh, can be enough setup
5
for some
seconds
Sunstrike
remaining.
kills early on with the slows. If
Reserve time.
they're on top of if they're on top of it with the predictions, because like it's uh, it's a hero that you can only really judge after a couple minutes have passed and see what kind of impact he's had. It's very similar to the Earthbird and the Monkey King in that regard. You kind of want to make something happen early on,
Wings
set up some
Gaming's
kills to get
turn to
your
ban.
next levels, and then as soon as you got track, as long as you throw out a couple of tracks in team fights, if you then and if the rest of the team is actually able to convert that into kills, then you should be fine. You're doing your job.
10
A
seconds
couple of
remaining.
tracks, 1 or 2 shuri tosses, and then you're alright, even if you die in the end. And the Warlock to run out the lineup. So it is going to be
Radiant team pick.
that Core Venge. Yeah, looks like a Core Venge. Perhaps even Weave a safe lane?
10 seconds remaining.
Aggro lane with Venge, Bounty, and Warlock? It's a bit iffy though, isn't
5
it?
seconds remaining.
The safer way to go would definitely be to put just Venge safe,
Reserve
Weaver
time.
offlane. Or like helping out the Venge and zoning out the Bad Rider.
Storm Spirit.
Then Bounty Hunter doing his thing. I don't really think he can make this kind of tri-lane work up against a Lifestealer and a CM and an Earthbird also rolling in on top of you. But yeah. Stormspurt now, rounding out the lineup for iG.Vitality, so that's a classic Lifestealer combo. And okay ways to deal with it, I suppose. If Invoker goes Quas-Vex, as we've seen twice today already, Invoker's going Quas-Vex. So, if they want to consider that for themselves. Other than that, not too much hard, long lockdown, really. Vengeful Spirit stuns very
10
low,
seconds
low
remaining.
duration. Warlock ulti stun even as well. So they might. If they go Quas-Vex, you can go for the Orchid build up on the Invoker. Orchid also an option for the Weaver potentially. Quick one on that, just have that lockdown available. We'll find out. Yeah, the Jeff is called as we head
Prepare for
into
battle.
game number 1 of this best of 2 series between Wings and iG.V, our last series of the day. My name is Dragon Drop, happy to bring you this, and hopefully not falling asleep because I've been awake for quite a long time, only had a short nap before the games today. Bcop was supposed to be casting these, but he had some sort of emergency, so I hopped in for a full day of Dota, and I'm super happy. Guessing Chinese Dota is just a lot of great games in this particular tournament as well. It's a great place for teams to just experiment and test their mettle against each other. Where's this Warlock set? I like the staff, that's what I'm sure.
30 seconds to
I
battle.
don't think I've seen that before. It doesn't look like no early war trades just yet. Dogfights and paparazzi. Paparazzi in his one position role, and not the mid role that he excelled on in the 1v1 tournaments. But of course, he's also a great carry.
The battle begins.
Absolutely mechanically gifted, talented player, and once again, dogfights on the Surf Spirits. I mean, that's yet another vessel for the Lifesteal, of course, before the Storm Spirit really can get huge. So they have plenty of options to play and outplay potentially on the side of Wings. Alright. Yeah. iG support actually, so no core Venge. Instead dual lane with the Weaver and straight up core Bounty Hunter. So I expected him to be in 4 position, but Faith Beyond picking it up with the Pullman Shield. He definitely wants to lane. He's getting some help with the Warlock here. They're up against a trial lane. The Warlock's not exactly known to be particularly good at these kind of situations. But as long as you can play keep away and just right click through, guess that makes up for it. Top lane in July. Actually dropping fairly low, but only level 1 on all of these heroes, so no easy follow-up potential. Meanwhile, down bottom, why? Only had to pop the Shadow Word defensively here with Ronan from Dogfights. It's essentially a 2v2 here, these 4 heroes battling up against each other, trying to zone each other out. Which means the paparazzi is getting the last hits that it needs. Honestly, let's Faith Beyond, just snag them away. Ice up top. I don't think he can afford these kind of trades. 4 stacks of napalm now on top of him. He doesn't have a stick. So it's not actually working out for him.
Denied.
As a result, we've got in July trying to keep the stacks up and make sure that ice cannot continue and come back in, but Batrider as a result, getting almost his level 2. Not quite there. Almost.
What have we here?
Dark fights with the bounty rune snag. I think why I also realized that he was probably on the way there. So doesn't even bother going for it himself. Yeah, this is a very odd lane. Technically it should be in favor of the lifestealer. Just because he's a lifestealer up against a melee hero, right? It's generally you can make a lot of good use out of the feast, but problem is the feast heal kind of being offset by the Shadow Word heal. There's only so much these supports can do, especially with the Crystal Maiden, who definitely wants to spend some time in the jungle, get your 3 levels off on the Frostbite. I think there was a self-cancel there as well from Fabian, so yeah, he's actually getting more than he really should, but alright. So they do have the Dust now, Super Ults making rotation through, have the Frostbite at the ready. And this should be the first blood, unless the Shadow Word can heal himself enough, but there it is. Dogfights with just enough control, hitting his level 2. No, to secure the kill for Paparazzi, so great way for him to start off this lane that'll secure his face boots, and this is the point already where I say, alright, it's getting much harder to actually lane against them. They're going to try and exploit this lack of regen though, and Faith Beyond with a lot of burst damage. A follow potential thanks to Rage. Well, oh, Sunstrike! Almost got him there. Meanwhile, up top, if you get in July, doing just standard bad run things, trying to soak some experience. He's level 3 now. Has a back on top of him though, and Blink, is he going for it? He's getting it too, isn't he? Yeah, there it is. Leveling up on the tower because that's what you can do these days, and yeah, you'll be A-okay. Cicada going through her, cold snapped up. Walk bottom, there's a DD rune waiting there for him, so... No level 6 just yet, so he's probably gonna go back to mid instead of trying to make some sort of rotation. Don't really need him to kill Faith Beyond to be able to extend himself, so... Not even going to bother.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Also like this movement from iG.V. It's just trying to soak as much experience as he can off of in July. As a result, they're pretty even in terms of levels. And now with a Sunstrike? Okay, even getting the kill. Sure, why not? Meanwhile, at the same time, down bottom, the upheaval comes out, but they do finish off Faith Beyond regardless. This is more standard Quas Exhort. I was entertaining Quas Vex a little bit earlier, but by the time that Storm really gets too much of an issue, Invoker should have enough points in the Quas Vex, or into Vex I should say, to be able to throw down some decent EMPs to help them out, and tornadoes and whatnot for the control. Because they definitely need to rely on him for a huge chunk of that, like up against the Storm in the later parts of the game. So far, Wings still staying static in these lanes. Link farming up. iG.Vi's doing his own thing, and Y just more or less babysitting Faith Beyond down bottom as much as he can. Now middle lane, alright. Gonna go Shadow here. Dogfights and Cicada both. They do not quite have enough damage actually. It only takes Super to come in, and now Cicada is out. Out of mana, out of health points. He's still alive, but being chased down by Blink. The Bark also on top of Super Frostbite to keep the Weaver away for a moment. And even though he does have stick charges to make sure he can get the time lapse off, he does not dive any further. Faith Beyond just looking for paparazzi. Get some Sunstrike help. There it is. Almost. Almost. Paparazzi still has to be careful. Damn. Also interesting build. I don't think I've ever seen that on a Lifestealer. Going for a medallion instead of Desolator. That's kind of a poor man's Desolator in a lot of ways. So it still has a similar effect in terms of his damage output. But seems like more of a support item. Something like a Nerve Spirit to pick up eventually. Well, iG.Vi's roll will miss. Dogfights pushes it back anyways. Sunstrike off the mark. Now Paparazzi with the heals from his open wounds, securing the kills. Well, now Shadow trying to turn us around. And Super will help the cold snap, and yeah, that'll be the 1-for-1 trade in the end.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Faith Beyond happy camper because of it. Pushing down this tower now together with Blink. TP is coming through there. Don't want to let this go just yet. It's going to be Paparazzi once again. Large inner charge. Still has rage, but might have to use it soon. He has 3 heroes show themselves. Actually turns around into Faith Beyond with it. Now more TPs coming in. Stun, Sunstrike. Not quite on the money here, just a little bit too late to actually set up for the kill. As a result, Faith Beyond's first one to fall with Dogfights. Also making an appearance. No Infest into a creep, just for safety, just taking it over. And perhaps looking for Weaver. Still does the time lapse, so even then, he's been spending a lot of time in his general area. He's not going to be time lapsing to a safe position, so he has to Shukuchi out. Meanwhile, Cicada trying to focus on the Vengeful Spirit and calls for the help of the rest of his team. And it's definitely a much easier kill to finish off. Give him arcane boots. Pretty good pace for the Storm Spirit. Kind of leading the CS shot. In terms of last hits, not so much nice. Shadow was able to do a good job on that front. And he's also very close to his Midas. Meanwhile, the fight still rages down bottom. He has slowed down Sunstrike, not enough to really shift this in favor. Favor Faith Beyond, but they still get the kill and lifesteal after the fact. It's a 2-0 trade in the end. Power of the sweep early on. And the upheaval. See his build coming out time and time again on China these days. It's just so obnoxious to have this early slow to deal with, especially on a hero that can get kited around fairly easily to begin with on a lifestealer. Not to mention the slow heroes like a Crystal Main, who just have a hard enough time to get into position as it is. Yeah. You're missing out on the Fatal Bond's potential extra damage, but smaller skirmishes early on, that doesn't actually matter too much, I don't think. Outside of very specific circumstances. And generally what makes Fatal Bonds amazing is if you can get along like 2 or 3 heroes, and if you then have AoE to actually hit these heroes as well, so you can get max efficiency out of it. As it stands, Link Dagger reveal in the battle I haven't talked about in July for a while. But he's been quietly farming away in the jungles for the top lane, showing off this blink. You got a lot, like the 10.5 minute mark, so pretty good timing on that as well. With Faith Beyond. Unless Paparazzi tanks a lot more damage here, he's going to be able to kill him, especially with the shrine there. So Faith Beyond, I think is Sunstrike has to hit, but it does. But the shrine's already been popped. Now the turnaround to Faith Beyond needs someone in with some detection, and they do. The rocket's being dropped, but Cicada dodges the stun, still securing the kill on one, and also perhaps looking for the Swallow Golem, but the upheaval makes it a little bit harder. Blink, meanwhile, PvEing down bottom. He's going straight for Lincoln's, no Desolator or anything of the sort. He's relying on a minus arm of the Vengeful Spirit or something. Who could also pick up a medallion if he wants to. Faith Beyond, also a candidate. Wonder what build this bounty goes for this game. Whether it's still going to be that mech and the guard increase, but then again, he already has the face boot, so that's an indication that he has no such plans whatsoever. So then the question becomes, does he want to go for a Desolator? Or does he still want to go utility of different sorts? Who knows? We shall find out sooner rather than later. But now, smoked up in July, he also has a packet with him. Of course, this fire just being spread out of nowhere is kind of a giveaway. So Wings know exactly what's going on with this. Shadow. Let's not get caught out. They just, well, they blindly roll across. They see him now blink into last zone. I think it was AFK a little bit. Plenty of control between Ninjala and Dogfight, so they do get a very high value kill. And probably the tier 1 tower on top of that at the same time down bottom. The rest of Wings is pushing down this tier 2, which was already brought down fairly low earlier. So, just in terms of towers, this is not a valuable trade for iG.V. Using a lot of map control, a lot of space to farm for lifestealer as a result down the drain. You still have the shrine, still have the tier 1 mid, which is super valuable, but might not actually have that much longer. Faith Beyond pushing out the wave, the rest of his team also joining in. Yeah, they're looking for this tower as well. And iG.V, so far, they've not really moved off the top lane. They're only now finishing off the tier 1. Paparazzi can come in with another infest bomb in a couple of seconds if he wants to. So far, effectively, they traded 2 towers for tower and a kill on the Invoker earlier. Now it's Wings turn to smoke up S5. iG.V might get caught off guard by this, especially if they're going into the water like this in July. First one to be spotted, Faith Beyond, patient here, just waiting for more heroes to show up now. The rock is being dropped on 2 heroes, super isolated in the side, he'll be brought down with a track kill. In July inside the Roach Pit, now in the back, Dogfights brings in Paparazzi, swap out for Ice. Give himself a little bit longer, but now Cicada comes in here, trying to finish off Faith Beyond, and will not quite be able to, needs a little bit more damage. There it is, another zip. 2 for 2 trade in the end with Paparazzi, still going strong here, looking for Shadow, but no detection. Blink, still blinking away, doing all of that. So, stay right where that was. 2 supports. Exchange for support, and what is an offlane in this game? In the form of the Bounty Hunter, but one of those skills, at least, was a track call. Don't think the dogfights one was tracked. Still blink lasso, and they want to use it. Golems scouting them out though, bit unfortunate for in July. So might have to rethink the strategy here. I like the idea from iG.V. I mean, you have a Stormthrower who just freshly completed up the Bloodstone. You want to be able to find some kills, and you have a lineup that's drafted around that idea. Being able to find pickoffs and launch into team fights with this kind of an advantage. Batrider blink in, fall off from Cicada, kill someone, and then move on to the next. Alternatively, just try and push down towers with that threat looming, but well, you have Faith Beyond tracking up the Batrider. And up top, okay, now you find Shadow. iG.V actually with a very interesting split on a forces, but they did the right one. They had enough damage to bring down the Invoke, and now trying to find why, but nice dodge on stone. No creep if coming in soon. They have lifesteal infested into Batrider, so Blink Lasso is still a potential, unless you just want to hold out to hit the tower, and yeah, that's gonna be the plan. You don't just want to go AFK inside that Batrider. It's a bad idea, generally speaking. Things just still with enough of an intimidating presence to make iG.V think twice, but Paparazzi is actually still sticking around here, but the rest of his team isn't. Now that's being spotted out, perhaps Invis in July found himself a rune, but yeah, they're still tracking down Paparazzi and roll to turn us around here, get a stun on 1, but just to create space. Paparazzi gonna get hit by the Sunstrike, no shrine available, stun up on the high ground, swap back, and nothing to infest into. Even if it was on cooldown. So I guess the trade-off is that Cicada and in July get the kill on the Invoker. So 1 for 1, tit for that. But Dogfights, he's tracked up. He might be another casualty here unless he can get the roll off. It's just way too much damage and yeah, way too much speed. So if he were to roll there, they would have probably been able to get in front of him. And really, they're getting that too. Cicada now with the turnaround on the Faith Beyond, they do get the dust on him. Well, that was another track kill, and now well, Blink just able to TP out. Nothing left to cancel it.
Where's the party?
Long jump here. Very long jump. They need to get Paparazzi in for the slows. Only level 1 with the open wounds. Gets it off now. The rock's being dropped, so it's a bit of a waste unless the rest of the wings can turn this around into another couple of kills here. And the Rage ends, Cold Snap on top of the bug, and this time he gets the infest into in July. Trying to beat that carrier service here. No Firefly though. Cicada coming back in here. Shadow has some help from Dogfights. With the Magnetize being dropped down, they get him and follow-up control onto 2. Golem still going strong, and Trax also making his way through. Paparazzi back into the fight though with another open moons. He's pushing his limits here of the hero with the armlet as well as the heals from that particular spell. And I really couldn't tell you who's ahead right now, to be quite honest. Pipe Recap says that iG.V overall is getting the better end of that trade. And if you look at net worth, yeah, it's iG.V who have 3 of the top 4 heroes on the net worth chart. I don't think the biggest part of that is this Invoker being shut down so hard. He has his Midas, but hasn't really propelled him to the top of anything. He's sitting at 5.8k. Now another smoke up here. Might just die again with the warping planted down. Yeah, just focusing straight onto Shadow. Lasso, while controlling up the Warlock at the same time, so it's two heroes dead in the blink of an eye. And that's a very deep dive as well, considering that the tier 1s are still alive and in mid as well as bottom. So definitely an unexpected move there from iG.Vitality. Did work out for them. Wings lose another 2 and they're also gonna lose the tower. Trying to maybe go for the tower deny and actually gets it. Alright. Space, Sunstrike, yeah, just a harass. Get a little bit easier with that track, of course. And another haste rune for Storm. That's like the second best rune on this hero, I want to say. Best, of course, region, because you can kind of zip every which way, do damage, and still be able to sustain. Haste runes are also pretty useful though, because you don't actually have to zip everywhere, you can just run and save mana that way. Faith Beyond. He's not really doing many things differently from what a 4-position bounty would do. Except you got slightly more money, I suppose, in the laning stage, slightly earlier levels. There goes face drums, trying to be a bit utilitarian. Another sort of drums on the Invoker, so we're setting up for this kind of idea of early game fighting, but so far iG.Vitality has beaten them to the punch on that front. Just with their ability to initiate properly here. The swap out onto Invoker to keep him alive this time around. And now, turn around from Skara. They do get the kill on one. Shadow on the side. Not sure if they can actually keep track of him. They plop down a sentry just at the edge. We'll catch him too. These kills are so huge. Godlike's 3 nails on Staccato on the Storm Spirit. Yeah, up to 22 Bloodstone charges. That's what I was talking about. iG.V. Or superior pick-off, superior initiation. The ability to go in and out of these fights very, very quickly. It's enabled them to start off on a better foot in all of these engagements. Now's the time where it's starting to pay off for them just in terms of objectives on the map as well. Not to mention, of course, the Bloodstone charges and the Orchid already done in Storm Spirit 2. Making it even easier, these pick-offs on the Invoker especially. He died again with Midas off cooldown. Alright. TB in. What they need now is Aegis, but they're not quite ready to bring it down, I believe. Solar Crest now completed on the Lifestealer. Going straight for the AC, so very team focused from Paparazzi now. Full 5-man smoke. Wings is there, they have everything available here, they just have to not die. Wise being caught out and taken down that rock. Definitely be the way to go. Pulled back to the other side, brought down. Paparazzi didn't even need to jump out, he did anyway. And Faith Beyond suns up, and Panic jumped out of his invis, but he's made his way back to base in time. It's only the Warlock going down, but that's enough. Because that is the big teamfight control right now. Invoker's not ready, does not have the Magnum Scepter. It's halfway there, the Blinken's being popped now, silences every which way. The swap to momentarily save him, but ultimately he still goes down. Too much mobility in iG.V, and Staccato gets himself a double kill. 25 Bloodstone charges now, he has a gem as well, so all his invis. It's not gonna save anybody from him. Sure, the tracks come out, it's great and all, but what is Faith Beyond really adding to this situation right now? I touched on it. Bounty Hunter's a hero that's doing great if you're ahead. Or if you're winning teamfights, if you're trading evenly at the very least, because that's when the tracks get you the gold advantage anyway. But if you're behind, if you're not even getting these kills, then what does Strike really do for you? Vision, yeah, sure, but it's the only thing that that hero offers to you. It's not going to be enough. Now it's just walking in very, very deep here, brought in a little bit closer to the loving arms of iG.V. Now buyback here. They really want to fight this. Roshan very well low Cicada now. With an Infest Bomb at the ready if he wants to go back in for a steal. There it is, coming through. The rock being jumped at just the right time. Roshan dies. Shadow actually takes it himself. Gets triggered immediately, but they also got the last hit on Roshan. So great gamut from Wings. So far, so good. Can they get some extra kills? They already got Paparazzi. The Shrine's up, and now Cicada ready to try and clean house here. That's one. That's two, perhaps, if you can get the control and Faith Beyond. But the Cold Snap making it so hard. And triple kill for Blink and back. Just sitting in the middle of that. Clicking people down. Oh, that's Sunstrike. Not sure where that was. Maybe towards the bottom lane. But yeah, it's clicking people down with a Fusel Blade. Wings, turn us around. But we get very much in their favor here, despite the buyback, just because Weaver got a huge chunk of gold. Has the Kara solo kill. Yep, pops from the Orchid. He didn't die in that fight. Still 29 plus on charges now. Faith Beyond, he's so low. If you only knew. He's looking for him still, and he's finding him. That's another one. Lungs are back. He's out of mana now, but yeah. Even with the mana button. Look at this region. Plus 80 with the bottles, alright. But plus 56, plus 58 with Intereds. That's quite the number. Yes, that's what 30 plus on charges do for you. And this snowballing storm spread still an issue for Wings to deal with. Oh, okay. So there's that one here, and good ultimate from Crystal Maiden actually. Time ups comes through, keeps Blink alive. Now follow up slow in dogfights. Will he be able to survive this? No, not quite. Triple kill for him again. Link is carrying right now. Definitely needs to. If it wasn't for his multi kills 2 times in a row now, they were probably lost a couple more towers at this point. Yeah. In iG.V, technically they have a lot of control, but they're spending it on the other heroes. They're not really able to focus the Weaver down, so Blink just keeping on the outskirts until all of that lockdown has been expended. And even then, he now has a BKB. So Lincoln Zen BKB, which is very defensive in nature, but it's gonna make sure that Sakara will not be able to kill him down here. I want to pop the BKB just yet here. Get Sakara to say, okay, no, he just wants to commit, and they will be able to bring down the Y and his Golem. While in July is just threatening the lasso. Pause, no. I just have the ult, so he could have triggered the Lincolns. With the rest of iG.V still focusing on the Golem, you perhaps didn't have that follow-up damage to make sure that Weaver dies before the time lapse. Not going greedy, going for the safe place. It was really good play as well, just forcing out that rock. Perhaps a bit of misplay on the side of Y. But definitely taken advantage of quite nicely by iG.V. They're gonna get 2 towers off of this. And what are they gonna do next? Faith Beyond. Farming on the other side, just keeping this lane pushed out, forcing Paparazzi back, so... Ow. They just had Coddle here. Could have just recalled him straight back in as it stands. Okay, Cicada is looking for someone else first. As it stands here, should be able to finish out that solo kill. And they still have the lasso here for the Weaver. They have the control, didn't get the BKB off, and Cicada, of course, quick enough to come in to provide that extra bit of damage. Buyback from my side, but there's no buyback on Weaver here, and that's another hero going down. That's a dieback, actually. Tipping to the shrine here, wings. Kind of being pulled apart, chain feeding here, time after time, hero after hero. Ultra kill for Cicada. And this just went from bad to worse. It's gonna be down to Shadow here. They're just focusing on Y. His ult's not even back for another 50 seconds. Not a whole lot he can do anyway, but it's just free kill, free Bloodstone charges. Well, Invoker was silenced up now, followed up with a stun with Cicada, and he dies. Can he get out? Cold Snap's still on top of him, on top of the tower shot's a little bit annoying, but he is able to make his way out of there. Creep wave coming, no hero alive on the side of wings. Question is, do they want to buy back here on the Invoker? I guess they don't really need to, just considering the pathetic speed that they're pushing this tower at. At the same time, though, Paparazzi is the real tower hitter, but without a Desolate, even that's not really true, is it? Tier 3 still standing here with a glyph being popped just at the last moment. It's kind of like the one weakness of iG.V's draft and the itemization. Paparazzi as a Desolator, they're able to bring down these towers very easily, but as it stands, they at least 4 city nice, so that opens up the shrines to ping it out immediately. Making a beeline for the bottom shrine. Yeah, can get that, can get the top shrine set up for next Roche, which we'll find out when he'll respawn in another 2 minutes or so. Overall, very safe, very cerebral play from iG.V. They're not pulling an LFY, they're not ready to throw this game out. Just know that they're ahead, they know how they want to stay ahead. I mean, just a couple of moments ago, Blink was at the top net worth chart with like his 15k net worth. And then Cicada got an ultra kill. Now his Bloodthorn, he has Shivas, he's sitting at 20k net worth, 37 Bloodstone charges. I mean, holy hell. That is the longest jump in the history of Dota. Trying to catch Faith Beyond, but not quite right on the money. But yeah, it's gonna regen that fairly quickly. Plus 72.5. Meanwhile, in the mid, the fight rages here. Rock being dropped. Not gonna be enough to save the Vengeful Spirit. 3's down. Same for the Invoker. Bling is, once again, he's gotta carry. Gotta carry it hard. Doing the best to save the Golem, save the Private Golem, but now Cicada back into the fray. Buyback forced out, so iG.V just saying, well, whatever. Paparazzi still has rage fall back on if they want to turn us. Ideally, they want some time for Cicada to get some extra mana reserves back. DPL get rid of the creep wave. Dogfight's coming in, looking for an opportunity. Actually, Tornado catches him on the roll out. Now with the cold snap, it's Cicada taking that over here, focusing on Invoke. If he can get the kill, and he can. Beyond Godlike, that's a dieback and a crucial target. Meanwhile, in the back, they do lose dogfights. Super also to the fatal bonds was the bug nibbling away. Still have to get the hell out of here. Nice little damage actually from the track. Paparazzi, okay, he's just fighting, gets another kill. And enough time for the rest of his team, and most importantly, Cicada. They're able to survive, make it to the shrine, heal up a little bit more.
Stupendous.
So once again they hold just because iG.Vitality don't have the best tower pushes. And Cicada, he has a huge mana pool and great mana regen, but it's not unlimited, so gotta be a bit careful. He's going for Linkens of his own by looks of it, yeah. It's gonna block like swap, track. It's gonna block a lot of things actually.
Pudding pop.
So I gotta wonder if BKB wouldn't have been a better choice, but at the same time, gonna get that kill. Yep. And zip right back out. At the same time, Lincoln's it's still useful just for the extra region that you get, which is always something that Cicada wants. In that sense, it's a bit more of a hybrid item, whereas BKB is just full on defensive. You, apart from the magic immunity, you don't get anything out of that item as a Storm Spirit. So he's not too worried about like the cold snaps coming through and everything else, locking him down for
Whoa,
good.
what'd I miss?
As long as he can just block one of these and take that as a cue to just zip out and get into a better position or something like that.
Where's the party?
Wings, what do they do now? They're grouping up as 5, they're hoping for a miracle at this point. Skada's not there with the rest of iG.V right now. He can't TP in a moment though, on top of the shrine. Roshan is scouted out, and yeah. They did not take care of this one though, on the high ground. Wings have a rallying location, but they do not feel comfortable fighting this at all. This is Roshan going down, and well, if there's anything more scary than a Storm Spirit with 40 Bloodstone charges, the Storm Spirit with 40 Bloodstone charges and an Aegis, but they're actually gonna give it to the Lifestealer, which is very confident, to say the least. Just don't think the Storm will die, I guess. Plus 90 region at this point. Helps them infest. Wings trying to go for the wraparound play. But Starfight's on the low ground right now. Could be an opportunity. But they do see Zakara right-clicking away. They should also figure out that there's probably a Lifestealer in this general area infested into someone. So, what Wings need is to pick off an isolated hero, but iG.V not really poised to give it to them. In July, he's actually far, far away, just looking to finish up his Shivas of his own. Needs a little bit of extra gold for the Mystic Staff for going buyback, and there it is. So I've got 2 Shiva's Gods, which is not a lot of fun for the Weaver to try and eat through that armor. That's what I'm sure. There we go. The hands have been dealt. iG.V with the Infest Bombard already. 40 Bloodstone charges on the Storm. Ready with an Aegis in the hand on the Lifestealer. And there it is. The zip in all the way to the back. Yes. Okay. That is a lot of damage being done in a very quick succession. Invoker dies immediately. So does the Warlock. So no rock, no teamfight control. And this must be GG, surely. Blink is BKB, but they can see him on the invis, of course. So that's another hero down without buyback, and yeah, GG is called. iG.V. Very strong performance here, just in the back of a snowballing Storm Spirit. When was the last time we saw that one happening? That's just very few emphasis being put on him in the early game, and the draft also wasn't really set up for it. Didn't have a lot of control in the later parts of the game to throw at him, so yeah, he did get a lot of freedom. Go for the Orchid, go for these early kills, and not be punished for it. And if you don't punish a Stone Spirit, well, this is what happens. iG.V with a very strong victory here in game number 1. Alright. And with that, we are already almost ready to go into the last game of the day, as this was only game number 1 of this best of 2. iG.V definitely want to secure that 2-0 if they possibly can. Looking at the looking at the brackets once again. With that, they pushed LGD Forever Young off that 6th place position already, sitting at 10 and 9 after this particular victory. So the more points, the better, but they're already off to a good start. LFY losing both the series today. Wings Gaming, they also need to start winning if they want to have a shot at making it to the playoffs. So a lot at stake here for both of these teams. I'll take a short break, but I'll be back in a moment, so don't go too far away.